Do you have any tips or recommendations for any types of learning or experiences or certifications or skill sets that they should be trying to get? Like, what are some of the things that you've seen among security awareness educators that make them especially good?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. And I think this comes back to what I said earlier on, that sometimes we tend to put so much emphasis on the technical side of things. And, sometimes we tend to forget that we're dealing with people, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, when we think about, cybersecurity breaches, cybersecurity threats, we still see that 80% of those really have to do with human elements. So I think it's really when you're looking at cybersecurity awareness, and I think that's what we do in research, let's start to look at the human being and look at ways, from a psychological point of view, from their behavior. How can we induce this type of behavior? What are the mechanisms? What are the, what aspects can we tweak a little bit? What intervention schemes can we put in place to get that? It's not always going to be the technical solution.
Right.
And I think this is part of the challenge that we face in the cyber ecosystem today, because when we think about phishing has been there for decades. Why is it that we haven't tackled that problem? Because it's a human problem. It's not a technical problem. You're not going to fix it with writing some bunch of codes. No. And so this is where you have to start looking at being able to align that technical component, process component, and the people. And I think that's what makes you a good, cybersecurity awareness research. If you want to build a career there, that's what you have to look at. What is it about people? How can we look at people as a human being and say, what is it that we can tweak a little bit?
Yeah.
How can we intervene in a favorable, positive way that will help make cybersecurity risk something that people will be at their fingertips?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And another thing that we talk about here all the time is that people are intimidated by getting into cybersecurity if they don't feel they have a baseline tech experience. And it sounds like, especially with security awareness researchers or educators, professionals, that we're always interested in people switching to cybersecurity later in their career. And it seems like maybe someone who has a background in counseling or psychology or psychiatry or would make a good example. Is that something that you've seen as well?
Absolutely, Chris. And I would throw this in there, like, so think about, like, things like insider threat.
Yeah.
And that's a potential threat that happens within an organization. How are you going to be able to look at a profile and say, well, based on this is a potential candidate, that's something maybe we need to watch closely. These are critical questions that comes from not so much about from the technical aspect of things, but from the psychological aspect of this, from the behavioral aspect of this, that will play a leading role in that as well.
Yeah, that's great. I hope we get to see a lot more people sort of moving into this space from areas that work with sort of human empathy and sort of human understanding and so forth. Have you seen Work Bites, the new security awareness training series from Infosec? Our team produced this series with 3 E's in mind, making security awareness training entertaining, engaging, and educational. Just go to infosecinstitute.com/free to learn more about this hilarious office comedy. And hey, let us know what you think about it.